Welcome to the Liberated Feminine Podcast. I'm Lucy Lampe, your host, and in today's episode, we're exploring what it really means to choose yourself. Too often when the conversation about a woman choosing herself comes up, it comes up in the context of not only realizing that she's been self-abandoning or betraying her own real needs or values, but in the specific situation of being in a relationship and she's had enough and she's ready for a change and maybe she's angry at him, but deeper than that, she's angry with herself for having tolerated, for having settled, for having received so little breadcrumbs when she deep down knows that she is worthy of a fucking feast. But, this is a huge but. This actually has little to do with her relationship and more to do with her tapping into this deeper part of herself that is worth fighting for. So choosing yourself is not just about getting out of the relationship that you realize is not aligned with what you actually want in your life. Sometimes choosing yourself means staying. Now hear me out here. Speaking from personal experience too, I'm not going to bullshit you on this. This is real talk, sis, real talk. In my previous relationship, in my previous marriage, there was a period of some years where, as I was getting started on doing the deeper work of reclaiming my worth, of rediscovering myself, of really romancing my own heart and getting to know what the fuck do I want? What do I need? What am I here for? What am I no longer available for? I had this deep down innate sense, and some of you have heard me speak on this before, that if I would have left the relationship at that time, I would have been abandoning myself. That in that context, in that specific season of my life, to choose myself meant to stay, meant to confront all of my inner demons within that relationship, meant to see him as a mirror, to allow every trigger to give me some deeper insight, to excavate more of myself and connect more deeply with my heart. It had actually much less to do with what he was or wasn't doing, how he was or wasn't showing up, how stuck I felt, how diminished I felt from being a certain version of myself, or whatever these jillion stories in my mind I had going on, which doesn't mean that they're invalid, does not mean that they were not true or didn't have truth to them. And yet, for me to choose myself, it meant to connect with my vibrance in such a way and find such real, true, deep peace in myself that even if he wasn't showing up in XYZ way, I was still okay. I was more than okay. I could be in my, what we call our feminine fullness and vibrance, and cultivate that inner trust that I was so aching for in the relationship. And that did turn things around in that relationship. We had some beautiful years before finally the marriage did end for other reasons that had to do with our values just not being aligned anymore, and him wanting a life that was incongruent with the family life that I was devoted to and that I was highly valued. So ultimately think of choosing yourself as this. What is it that you are willing to fight for? What is it that you are willing to put everything on the line for? Is it just a temporary or maybe years of resentment that builds up to a moment of like, I can't do this anymore? Is it that? Or are you connecting with a deeper part of yourself that says, you know what, I choose me no matter what situation I'm in, no matter what the dynamic is. And P.S., I'm not talking about staying in an abusive relationship. I always want to mention that, because this is never an excuse to just stay with an abusive person or in an actually abusive dynamic just for the sake of, well, let me see if I can make this work. No. I mean, if you are dissatisfied with your relationship, with the level of emotional depth, with the spiritual connection, with the sexual intimacy, with how desired you are or are not, I'm talking about in those circumstances, you getting really clear about what it is that you want now. What are you no longer available for? And you get to use that relationship, in this example, as your training ground for really practicing what you preach, for really putting into action and showing the universe, look, even if he's not showing up in this way, I am going to still show up in this way for me, not as a performative thing to try to manipulate him to change or to get more into the things that I'm into or the spiritual practices or whatever that may be, or to want me to pretend to be the black cat so he can be the golden retriever. No, we don't do that here. This is purely for the woman that you want to be, the woman that you know you already are, that is covered up and being, suffocated. There it is. Suffocated by all of these life circumstances, all of these patterns, all of these unhealthy loops that you have found yourself in that, you know what, maybe are not even yours. Maybe it's some shit that's been passed down throughout generations. I've had lots of that myself, where it's a way of perceiving or relating to men that was passed down from my maternal side. A deep distrust in men, a sense of like they can't provide, so I've got to always be the one. I can't soften, I can't relax, I can't rely on someone, let alone let them actually provide for me in any way, not just financially, but God, can I trust this man to, with stability, provide for me emotionally? Provide the connection that I really long for, that I know I'm here to experience in my heart of hearts. And so a lot of that too might not even be yours to carry, sis. It might be something that on a soul level you said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to be the one to break this fucking cycle. I'm going to be the one. And when you do, you free the lineage that came before you and the lineage that comes after you. So for you to choose yourself is for you to choose that version of you that you are committed to being, regardless of what your external circumstances are. And this is not just about tolerating your life or coming to a place of, well, I guess this is as good as it gets. These are the cards I've been dealt. I also don't buy into that bullshit. I believe that if you have this huge vision in your heart of a vibrant, love-filled, harmonious, alive, personal life, relationship, family life, career, a thriving aliveness in your body, a deeply sensual and turned on connection with your body, that if that is what you desire, that's part of what you're here to experience. It's not some cruel joke that the universe is dangling in your face, like, hey, you see how somebody else has this thing? Wouldn't it be nice? Would be nice. You don't get to have that because you don't deserve it, because you're going to have to suffer more, because you're going to have to earn it more. Whatever that bullshit set of stories in your mind is, identify that. What is it that you are telling yourself is in the way of you living the life that you desire, so that you just ache to experience? That is most likely the homework that your soul chose in this lifetime. And this is not about the specifics of, okay, when your partner says this, you say that. When your boss or your child or your friend or your sibling or your neighbor acts this way, you do that. No, those are scripts. Those are programs. Those are, that's like a role playing, not an embodiment. The truth is this: when you really embody your self-worth, when you embody your vibrant love for yourself, when you really choose yourself, when you choose your heart, when you realize that you're already chosen by creation itself. Literally, creation chose you. It fucking chose you. You know the what is it? However many chances in a billion that you were even conceived, let alone actually made it earthside. It's wild. And yet here we are begging, so many of us begging as women to be chosen, begging for breadcrumbs, so starved for love and desire and affection that we take the breadcrumbs and we say, well, I guess this is it. I'm just going to lock this one down. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When we really look at it, we zoom out and we see it for what it is. And a woman who chooses herself is not someone playing a part, pretending to be confident, pretending that she's good no matter what anyone does. No, you choosing yourself also means that you are honest with your heart. It means that you are willing to have the hard conversations. It means that when your heart is hurting, you're not going to pretend and shrink back and live as if there is no space for your emotions, as if there is no space for your inconvenient feelings. Because that is the truth. A woman who is truly connected to her heart, a woman who is fully alive, a woman who is in her feminine, a woman who is integrated with her masculine, all these things that we are talking about in these spaces and beyond, she is an inconvenient woman. She's inconvenient. She will say things and do things in service to that higher love, not just because it appeases her ego in the moment, but because it really does serve the vision of, for example, her relationship. I can't tell you how many times in my own relationship now I've had those choices of, you know what, this is really weighing on me, on my heart. And I'm not going to throw a tantrum like a wounded maiden or an upset little child, but I am going to honor the inner child in me that feels, for example, unmet or unseen or like, nope, I don't have time for you right now. I tend to her first. I ask her what she needs. I connect with her little heart, her little self's big heart. And then I bring that to my partner. Anytime that has been a choice and I say yes to it and I bring it into the conversation, guess the fuck what? It is a disruption. But it's meant to be a disruption because a woman who chooses her heart is going to disrupt shit. Don't expect it to be all neat and tidy and streamlined and predictable because it's just not. And it's not meant to be. It's not supposed to be. If you're still trying to make it all neat and tidy and only interject with your what your heart is experiencing at the convenient moment, there will never be a convenient moment. You will end up waiting years later with bottled up resentments, unspoken truths, and a lot of withholding your heart, because this is the other thing. You cannot withhold truths without withholding your heart. And it is a skill. It is a skill too. When you begin to really, truly choose yourself and choose to live in integrity, this is the baseline of all of this, you not only become unapologetic, you're not being unkind about it, you're not being cruel or cold, but you are being so genuine to the point that if you were anything less than that, you know deep down that you and you alone in that situation, in that moment, are blocking the flow of love. So ultimately, a woman who chooses herself, she is deeply connected with what is worth fighting for. What is the life that she is here to live? And watch out for that woman, y'all. Ooh, because she is more relentless and more fiercely committed to creating in real tangible life form the vision that she has burning in her heart. More than any, more than the wildest, most feral animal you will see in nature. She is so fucking relentless. Again, not cruel, but everything in deep service to love, because ultimately a woman who chooses herself is devoted to love itself. Not the romantic notion of love or the emotion or the feeling of love, but this love that she fundamentally is, the love that creation brought you in through as, the love that you are. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. What in this is resonating? Where do you feel called forward? Where are you feeling called forward? Not even called out. I'm not here to call you out. I'm here to call you forward, because there is a part of you that is still shrinking back, a part of you that is still waiting for someone to choose her in order to choose herself, or in order to just feel chosen, period. But the irony here, the paradox here, or the catch-22 here is that until you really truly choose yourself, a man can't choose you. He cannot. And maybe on the outside, he's choosing you, or he is putting in the actions of choosing you every day. But that will never replace you choosing yourself. And so even if someone in his own experience is choosing you, you're not going to be able to actually receive that and see it clearly and see it for the truth, experience it for the truth that it is. Because there is still that something in you that is not choosing yourself. So let me know what that is in the comments if you can, here on, if you're listening on Spotify especially, or YouTube. And I challenge you to commit to some tangible, measurable way that you can choose yourself more every day. Maybe it's a practice that you've been putting off. Maybe you've been believing your own excuses about why you can't do this, or can't begin learning that, or can't devote yourself to 5 minutes a day of just moving your body, for example, or connecting with your erotic aliveness in some way, connecting with your heart. So let me know in the comments, and if you want to continue to explore this and unpack this within a community of other wild-hearted, big-hearted, expressive women, join me in the Liberated Feminine Community. We are leveling up now starting this week. We're going to be gathering every week for Wild Woman Wednesdays, where we will move together, express, feel, release, alchemize. I'll guide you through some things, allow space to share and be witnessed by other women in this intimate space. So join the community as a founding member at the time of this episode. We are at the founding member cost of just $19 a month. Okay, weekly Wednesdays and monthly workshops on special topics. Like the next one we have coming up is on sensual embodied movement to liberate more of your erotic aliveness. So I'll guide you through movement and different things to evoke and work with that energy. All right, well, thank you for joining me in this space. And as always, here's to liberating your wild feminine heart. I be the best. I'm your little porn star. You bring the boom, I bring the bass. Give me a taste, they me the waste. I'm your little plaything.